여러분 안녕하십니까? 추석 특집 C채널 뉴스입니다. 최근 이슬람 순위파 극단주의 무장단체 IS가 미국 기자 제임스 폴리를 참수했다는 소식이 알려지면서 전 세계인들이 충격과 공포에 휩싸였는데요. IS는 이슬람 교도는 물론이고 종교적, 민족적 소수 집단을 상대로 대량 학살을 벌이고 있습니다. 이를 막기 위해 전 세계 종교 지도자들이 목소리를 내고 있습니다. 오늘의 첫 번째 소식입니다.
This chilling video, released late Tuesday, appears to show the 40-year-old American photojournalist James Foley on his knees, with his executioner next to him, holding a knife in his left hand. Foley was a seasoned foreign correspondent on assignment for the Global Post when he disappeared in northern Syria. His murder is retaliation for U.S. airstrikes that have stopped the ISIS advance in northern Iraq. It's the latest outrage from the soldiers of the Islamic State.
This is a tragedy which is beyond imagining. There are no words to describe this kind of inhumanity.
Lawmakers in Washington say ISIS is capable of carrying out an attack on U.S. soil and warn that the president must deal with the militants now.
ISIS' method of diplomacy are beheadings, crucifixions, mass executions, or live burials, and enslavement of women and forced marriages. These are evil people. They need to be defeated.
This Yazidi American says she lost at least 20 family members in the genocide.
My mother's sister-in-law's family, before the genocide, there was 24 members in total. As of now, including her, there's only one other member of their family remaining. 22 of them have been killed. So out of 24, there's 2 left.
Across the globe, opposition to ISIS is growing. In Germany, thousands of Kurds, Yazidis, and others took to the streets of Hanover, calling on the international community to intervene. Religious leaders are speaking out too. On Monday, the Pope gave his blessing to military action to stop the terrorist group. Patriarchs in Lebanon are also calling for action to stop the persecution of Christians displaced in Iraq. Even Muslim leaders are slamming the actions of ISIS. Saudi Arabia's top cleric says the group is Islam's #1 enemy, and representatives of several Muslim organizations call the radical group a monster. Meanwhile, a group of religious scholars here in the U.S. are calling for the destruction of ISIS. The online petition signed by Dr. Robert George of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom and many others says, quote, "None of us glorifies war, but warns that nothing less can stop the Islamic militants' campaign of genocide against religious minorities and unconscionable acts of barbarism against defenseless women and children."
Christians, Yazidis, Kurds, even members, as I say, of the Sunni majority, all of these people are being victimized, and victimized in a genocidal way, being wiped out as communities by these monsters.
He says the international community must come together to destroy ISIS.
This is not a case of us Christians or us Americans against Islam. Islamic leaders throughout the Middle East are calling for the destruction of ISIS as well. We have no choice here. We must join across international bounds. The United States shouldn't do this alone, but in solidarity with other nations across the globe to stop this.
And he warns that if ISIS is not defeated, the militant army will expand its territory.
ISIS, Islamic State, has no intention of stopping in Iraq. They mean to go on to Syria, throughout the Middle East, and they mean to carry out terrorist attacks in Europe and in the United States. These people do not idly threaten. When they threaten, as they have threatened, they make good on their threats. We must stop them now.
이라크 북부에서 이슬람 국가 IS의 공격으로 수천 명의 난민이 발생했습니다. 많은 기독교인들이 직장과 집을 잃고 불확실한 미래 앞에 두려워하고 있는데요. 이러한 이들을 위해 교회가 도움의 손길을 내밀어 희망을 전하고 있다고 합니다.
Over this past week, the army of ISIS swallowed up parts of Iraq like a darkness. In just one day, tens of thousands of Christians fled villages like Karakush and Bartilla, just about 25 miles away. Most have come here to Erbil with nothing more than the clothes on their back.
They take everything from the house, from the store, everything. And they take like machine, everything, because they are Christian. Just the name Christian. They hate Christian especially. We don't know why.
It was leave or die.
They say if anyone don't become like Muslim, we're gonna kill it. Kill it. Each one, from baby and woman, one, old man.
We don't have anything here. They bombed the churches and already took our houses. We have nothing here. No money, no ID, no travel documents.
What's happening now to the Christians, to the Yazidis, to the minorities, and like in the last couple of days, mostly to the Christians, is a genocide. What's happening is what happened 200 years ago with the Jews.
Dr. Ahmed hears stories of the barbarism of ISIS.
That ISIS was killing, shooting the kids and the people, and they are laying them on the ground, and they bring tractors that they walk over them in the front of their families. They take women out of their houses. So let's say each family that they have three daughters, they would take one.
In the wake of the ISIS advance, thousands of ethnic Yazidis escaped to a mountain outside the town of Sinjar, while these Christians found shelter at this Catholic compound in Erbil. A few weeks ago, these families fled when ISIS cleansed Mosul of Christians. ISIS gave them an ultimatum.
They gave us 4 choices: either convert to Islam, or paying tax, or leaving the city, or the sword. They are using the sword to cut off hand and also beheading others. So I don't think this is the behavior of human beings, but wild animals do that.
ISIS looted their properties and left them destitute. They took this woman's dentures, wedding ring, and documents.
They took everything. We asked them, please give us something to show that we owned our car, our home. They said, here you have nothing.
ISIS searched the home of one Christian in Mosul and discovered these 2 New Testaments, one with a camouflage on the cover and the other with an American flag inside. They accused him of being both a missionary and a spy. ISIS put his name on a list. He told his story, but asked us to hide his identity.
Hey, stop, get back. You are a Christian. The terrorist told me we will kill you.
Sometimes the pressure is overwhelming.
Jesus, save me. Oh, the terrorist. Forgive them. Because they didn't know. They didn't know what they were, what they act.
Even though these Christians are the original people of the region, many simply want to leave. They're pleading for the U.S., the UN, and Pope Francis to help.
We are asking the responsible states of the international community to come and look and see how all the people are living here.
Where can you go when you've lost almost everything? Many of the churches in Erbil literally opened their doors for the many Christian refugees that fled the advance of ISIS. They simply feel that it's the church's calling to provide refuge for families like these. The Kurdsman Church transformed their building into a true sanctuary.
The building is for the humanity.
Pastor Majid Mohammed opened doors for both Christians and non-Christians.
We wanted to show those people we don't care that they are Christians, Yazidis, Muslims. We don't care about that because they are human beings and they have been fired out, kicked out at their home by ISIS and the terrorist groups. So this is why we wanted to show them that as a Christians we love them and we are very glad to have them here and serve them.
This man led a mini exodus of several families to the Kurdsman Church.
On behalf of all the people right here, Pastor Majid is really showing the love of Jesus.
Across town at the Ankara AOG Church, families who are now safe talked about the violent ultimatum they faced.
We have been told by ISIS if we don't convert to Islam, either they will kill us or we will have to leave the city.
For most, it wasn't a choice at all.
We prefer to die rather than convert to Islam. God has created us as Christians and we don't want to convert to Islam. The power of God keeps us and strengthens us to remain as Christians.
Most will never return like this policeman who escaped with his family and 10-day-old baby.
I am already wanted by the Islamic groups over there. And secondly, I am a Christian. As a minority, I am also wanted by ISIS, so we cannot go back there anymore.
Most told us they simply want to leave Iraq.
This is the only way or the only solution for our problem because we cannot go back to our home and we cannot stay here. We want to go out. Even if they provided international protection, we don't want to keep staying here.
Their long-term fate remains one of the major questions in this humanitarian crisis. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Erbil, Kurdistan.
IS는 기독교인뿐 아니라 야지디라고 불리는 소수 종파도 겨냥하고 있습니다. 쿠르드 지역에서는 수만 명의 야지디인들이 피난처를 찾고 있는데요. 난민 수용소 현장의 목소리를 함께 들어보시죠.
182,000 Yazidis have sought refuge in Kurdish cities, dwelling in abandoned office buildings like these. Just behind me are the mountains that lead to Turkey. Turkey is very close, just several kilometers away. And many of the Yazidis who have come here to the northern Iraqi city of Zakho say they prefer to go to Turkey. That's because they say they can no longer live with Muslim Arabs. One Yazidi leader told us hundreds of Muslim neighbors turned against his people when Islamic State fighters arrived in Sinjar.
Arabic tribes, they joined them and they attacked our villages. They took away our females, children, old men, everything. Even if we got back our homes, we cannot live with the Arabs because they are usually trying to persecute us.
This refugee spent 8 days trapped on Sinjar Mountain. He's a recent Christian convert, so we're protecting identity. Shamo says he witnessed terrorists kill 170 Yazidi men, then take their wives and daughters away to be sold or used as sex slaves. He says he wants nothing to do with Islam because of ISIS and the atrocities committed by Muslims he once considered friends. Shamo says he was attracted to Christianity because of the kindness and generosity of Christians.
I can say only one word about the difference between Islam and Christianity. The difference is the distance between earth and sky and heaven. We're thinking every day why we are not behaving just like the Christians. We really saw a real humanity in their life.
Feeling betrayed by Arab Muslims, the Yazidi refugees are looking to the Kurds and Christians for help.
We're here to show that you have not been abandoned. Knowing that many Yazidis died on Mount Sinjar, lacking clean water, we have taken the initiative to bring water tanks to the Yazidi people so that they would have water on a daily basis in order to drink and survive.
CBN provided 8 tanks, doubling the number of existing water tanks for nearly 4,000 refugees living in these unfinished office buildings.
We've heard that you are in need of blankets. These blankets are gifts and relief to the Yazidi people, from the church in America and from American believers. And people are thinking of you and praying to God for you.
Shamo is thankful and asks that American Christians continue to assist and pray for the Yazidis.
Please, either if you can protect us, provide us an international protection, or take us out the country because we don't want to give our children and our women anymore. Please pray for the Yazidis people so as to come to Christ just like me.
Changed hearts and lives as CBN partners bring blankets and clean water for life, living water for eternity.
And we do these things in the name of Jesus Christ.
Gary Lane, CBN News, Zakho, Iraq.
현장의 목소리를 들으니 더욱 가슴이 아픈데요. 이러한 가운데 이라크 세인트 조지 성공회 교회 캐논 앤드류 화이트 신부가 이라크 기독교인의 참상에 대해서 직접 이야기를 전했습니다.
Iraq today is the worst reality of religious persecution since the Holocaust. That is a terrible thing to say. They are slaughtering our people, they are massacring them. Hundreds of thousands have fled. They fled with nothing. We are having to provide them everything, cots for their babies, food, water. They're desperate.
How can people in the West, what do they need to understand about this, and how can they be moved, I guess, to help?
The people in the West need to know, first of all, amongst us as Christians, that these are your brothers and sisters. They are not people in some far-flung land. They are people in the land where Christianity really began. We started believing the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob since the miserable evangelists came to us by submarine 2,700 years ago. His name was Jonah. And since then, there has been the belief in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in Nineveh. And for 2,000 years, Nineveh has been the headquarters of Christianity. Doubting Thomas got there and said, "Did you know your Messiah had come?" And they said, "No, nobody's told us." He told them, they believed. To this day, Nineveh has been Christian until 4 weeks ago. And 4 weeks ago, for the first time, there was no communion in Nineveh that Sunday. First time in 2,000 years. And now our people have fled. They have fled with nothing. They have got nothing. We're providing them with food, with shelter, with cots for their babies. Everything is being given by the Christians in the West.
What kind of age do you think we're living in to see these kind of horrors on such a massive scale?
Well, the thing is that in the scripture, we're told that before Yeshua will return, things won't be better, they will be worse. We are told that there's going to be terrible persecution, aggravation, the massacring of thousands. And now it is happening. We are seeing what we can only imagine will be the events of the last days happening in our midst.
추석 특집 C채널 뉴스 오늘 준비한 소식은 여기까지입니다. 남은 연휴 풍성하게 보내시기 바랍니다. 시청해주신 여러분 고맙습니다.